Hi, this is Terry Bach, and welcome to the It's My Time Now mini summit, How to Redesign Your Life on Your Terms. So what I've been noticing is that for women over 50, we start kind of awakening. We're coming out of this fog. We're looking at our life in a different way now. And, maybe what you're thinking is, I've been taking care of everything else in my life, my family, now my parents, my job, my business. But I haven't really been taking very good care of myself and my needs and wants. So isn't it my time now? And, maybe as a younger woman, you've thought about what your life would look like at this time. And maybe it doesn't look anything like that. Maybe what you thought has really shifted for you. And maybe you just don't know yet what you want to be doing in this part of your life. So I have invited some amazing experts on this topic of women over 50 and redesigning their lives on their terms. Now, each of our experts are going to be talking about this from their own unique and specific point of view and all of their own experiences with it. So today, I have invited Jewel Veitch as our expert. Now, Jewel is a seasoned coach, entrepreneur, and facilitator in the field of personal and career development. So she's the author of True Gifts, Ignite Your Soul's Magic and Monetize the Highest Expression of Your Purpose. Sounds exciting. She has supported many women to launch their dream of building a legacy, doing what they love. She's excited to bring her expertise to purposeful women around the world through her Ignite Your Soul Magic program, workshops, and speaking engagements. So, Jewel, welcome.
Thank you.
I'm glad you were finally being here. We were talking before and throughout the process of getting together that you're going through all these fires in Canada, and that so I really appreciate you making the time to be able to take time out of all that and come on the series with us.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, so
happy to be here.
Good. I love to ask people, I'm always curious, what led you to doing what you're doing? So you're serving a lot of women, helping them discover their true gifts, the name of your book too, and really getting paid to do what they love. What got you there? Led you to that?
What led me to this and doing this work, which is really a labor of love, was that I vowed at a really, really young age never to do work that I didn't love, because I lived with a parent who did not love what he did. Okay. And there were repercussions, there were consequences to that. And so really early on, I made a vow to myself, literally. And so I had a lot of different jobs, a lot of different careers, and then landed into career consulting for the government and worked in the public sector. And in the environment of that, I was helping people day in and day out to explore their gifts and leverage their gifts and find work that they loved. And I found that there were a lot of areas in that particular career where I was restricted from, in terms of resources and time.
Sure.
As is the case for a lot of, organizations and government funded agencies. And I restricted from really delving deeply into the true gifts that people have. And so my vision and mission was always to facilitate people to move into careers that really held purpose and meaning for them. And that didn't always happen. And so I became frustrated with the different guidelines that we were asked to work under. And I launched into entrepreneurship 8 years ago as a result, and took that work a step further and dove deeply into being able to coach my clients and support people to really identify and laser in on their true gifts. And have been doing that ever since. And no day, no person is ever the same, because everyone and every gift is so unique. And generally speaking, our gifts are right under our nose, and we're just not sure how to leverage them, number one. And there are fears and concerns and doubts around whether or not they're good enough to monetize. And so
Right.
I've brought those pieces of gifts and matching those gifts to that deeper purpose together to intersect in a way that is manageable and is creates an opportunity for monetization, for starting your own business, for making money at doing what you love. So
That's
it,
great. And I
yeah.
think that's so important, such important work too, because as you were talking, the first part, I think we tend to, especially, well, I don't know if it's especially women over 50. I think it is, but it may not be. But we tend to get into something and we don't feel like we have choices. So we continue doing the same thing over and over, whether we're enjoying it or not. We just kind of plow through and do it without really thinking about the cost to us.
Mhm.
I think that's
Absolutely.
part of it. And the other thing that you said too is, I think, how did you word that? I know when I've done exercises on finding my unique gifts or my true gifts or whatever, it's not easy. It's not easy to do because one, if we think we're good at something, we assume everybody's good at it and we don't see it as unique to us.
Mhm. Yeah.
So I think that's really important for you to be helping women.
It is, and I've spent a lot of years learning how to use tools and assessments to help people assess their gifts, identify their gifts,
Okay,
extract them through. And most of those assessments are great. However, they don't go far, they don't take us far enough, they don't take
right.
us into the realm of how do we actually draw out the magic of those gifts, and how do we use them and utilize them in a way that is our unique expression and our
Yes.
highest expression. And that was the missing piece that I found when I was working in the traditional work environment. And what you said about women over 50, and that seems to be
Mhm.
that age. And I was such a woman at 50, was when I left my traditional career, actually.
Okay, okay.
There's this point in time, as you know, because
Yes,
I know you work with women over 50 or in
right.
midlife. There's
Mhm.
this magical time, or this time in life where we say, like, what am I doing? Why am I doing it? And
Exactly.
how do I make my life count? And is what I'm doing aligned with the legacy that I want to leave and the contribution that I
Mhm.
want to make? And
Absolutely.
it's really
Yes.
important to understand that the answers to those questions need to intersect with the magic of our gifts. And when that happens, that is the formula, and the
Right.
magic formula, so to speak, that has us resonate and feel joy and wake up excited about life in the morning and excited about our work,
Exactly.
because we know that in this second part of our life, we're making a difference. So we're not
Mhm.
just on autopilot, and we don't want to be anymore.
No,
And
no.
that's part of what brought me here, which kind of answers is part of answering your first question too, is I hit 50, and I
Right.
felt these things.
And it's
Uh,
sort of like this magical time in a way where,
yeah,
automatically, and sometimes it's a major event that happens in your life, but sometimes it's just that age where we start really waking up
yeah,
and thinking, is this what I want the rest of my life to look like? Or do I want to do something different? Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely.
So I know in my own work with women, and I'm sure you get into this as well, is you call it mind traps. I call it, stories or beliefs that really hold women back from going after, even after they discover what their true gifts are. So, how do you help them release those mind traps that keep them from really getting to going after their dream?
Mhm. That's a great question. I love that question. And it starts with, when women ask themselves, well, what is my dream? Many don't know, or
Exactly.
um, don't believe that they can achieve their dreams. So therefore stop themselves from dreaming,
Yes.
and therefore don't know what they want, and think they don't know what they want, and or don't let them want what they want, don't let themselves
Exactly.
want what
Yeah.
they want. And what gets in the way of all of these things that I'm describing are, as you say, they're negative beliefs, they're limiting beliefs. And
Mhm.
how I support women through that is we use an inner core belief shift tool, because
Okay.
everything, and as you would know, because you do this work as well, but everything comes down to our belief system. And it's the belief system that drives our lives, drives our behaviors, how we
Yes.
speak to ourselves, and therefore operate in the world and communicate
Right.
out into the world. So we go through a cycle of identifying the root limiting belief, having a look at somatically how our bodies respond to
Mm-hmm.
those beliefs, because it's that iceberg, the iceberg
Mm-hmm.
example, where
Right.
5% of conscious awareness is on the surface and 95 is underneath.
Right.
And these unconscious beliefs that we've held, like these vows that I'm talking about,
Exactly.
these
Uh-huh.
vows are so powerful. And because they're subconscious, the only way we can understand how they impact us is through the body and how the
Mm-hmm.
body responds. And in my experience, and
Right.
through all of my somatic and body, centered and body wisdom training, our body literally tells us immediately what's going on,
Exactly.
so
Yes.
we can utilize that. And I teach women to be able to access the wisdom of their body. And then, you go through the cycle of what's the belief, what's the body responding with, and then what's the behavior in your life. And then what's the
Right.
internal dialogue that's actually supporting that behavior, and then supporting that belief. And going through that cycle really highlights how untrue these beliefs are,
Right. Oh,
and we
nice.
see
Yeah.
that in the process, and then
Mm-hmm.
flip it into the truth. And the truth that comes from the heart, and the
Right.
and the body will respond immediately as soon as it hears the truth. So
Interesting.
that is the process that I use, that is very much based in accessing the wisdom of the body. And
Okay.
it's something that I developed for myself as I was in heavy duty grief,
Oh.
after my sister passed away. And
Mm.
through a 10-year anticipatory grief period, I taught myself how to move through. And
Wow.
so that's the tool that I use. And you're right, it's all
That's
about,
beautiful. Mm-hmm.
preventing those illusions,
Yes.
misguided beliefs, untruth,
Yes. Yes.
from driving the vehicle, of our lives, and of ourselves as humans.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I love what you said too, because I totally agree with those beliefs or those mind traps or those illusions or whatever are also what stops us from having dreams. It's not just
Yeah.
that you have the dream and then you don't, excuse me, you don't get to it. It's really that you shut down and you
Mhm.
believe that you don't have the right or don't deserve or whatever the belief is, but it keeps women from having dreams.
How sad, right?
It is.
Yeah,
Yes,
exactly. And
absolutely.
it's
Yeah.
our birthright. We're meant to, be and do great things.
Absolutely. Or at the very least, to do the things we want.
Well, and but those, and
Yes.
those are great things. And that's, I
Yes,
was
they
just
are.
going to
You're
say,
right.
I'm not talking about Mother Teresa things. I'm referring to the things we love. And those are great
Absolutely.
things,
Yes. Yeah.
because
And it
when
doesn't
we
matter
give
what
up,
they are.
no,
Yeah,
no, no,
absolutely.
no.
So I know that you have referred to developing a new heart language vocabulary. So can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Well, that's a great segue into what we were just talking about. And when we cycle through those untruths and those
Mhm.
illusions, the beliefs that are not true,
Right.
we come around in the cycle back to the actual truth. And our hearts have an enormous amount
Mhm.
capacity for not only holding the truth, it
Mhm.
holds all of the wisdom of the universe. And so the way that our heart speaks to us is very different than the way that our head speaks to us.
Very.
And
Yes.
we live through our lives basing our functioning on mind and brain vocabulary and language that we are taught, and language that is reliant on the old vows and the old belief systems that we hold to keep
Mhm.
ourselves safe. And the heart vocabulary, the heart language, is the language of the heart. And if you think about, and this work and this healing work that I've done has been based in the teachings of Rumi, and in really an Eastern tradition of really listening in. And that's why,
Mhm.
there's such a huge movement toward mindfulness, and there has been for decades,
Right.
around getting quiet, stilling the mind so you can hear your heart. And that's not just a concept,
Right.
because there are processes that I take people through where you can literally hear your heart speak. That's one of my programs. It's called Heart Speak. And you
Wow.
can literally hear the words that your heart is giving you, that is information that can
Hmm.
guide you forward, or that can inform you about your gifts, that can inform you about your deeper purpose, your dream, what to do next, what your next most inspired right step is.
Okay.
And so the heart language vocabulary is a new vocabulary where you begin, as you work with this, you begin to collect words of power. And words are sounds, and sounds are vibration, and vibration is very powerful. And so words of power become part of your vocabulary that replace the words of disempowering energy
Okay.
that we
Okay.
hold in our, literally we hold it in our systems. So
Mm-hmm.
these words of
Absolutely.
power heal, and
Okay.
they heal our systems, they heal our hearts, and we begin to see ourselves for the magic that we truly are. So it's very, very powerful and illuminating work.
Wow. Yeah.
Mm, yeah,
Sounds like it. That
yeah,
sounds like it.
yeah.
So, Jewel, what important message would you like to leave with our listeners?
Ah, well, I would like to leave the very important message that it is your birthright to have a vision, have a dream for your life, for what you want it to be, and for being able to fulfill that legacy, fulfill that purpose that you came on earth to fulfill. And that when my sister passed away, she said to me, I know I'm dying and I cannot fulfill my purpose, but you can. So wake up. And that was her legacy that she
Oh
left
my
for me. And
gosh.
that is wisdom that came from a very deep place in her. And so that is my message, and it comes with a lot of reverence for life and for the fact that we came here for a purpose. So that is why people are unhappy. And at 50, that's why we find ourselves wanting to kind of like, okay, hurry it up already, I'm halfway through my life. what do I need to be doing here? And that is the very
Mhm.
reason why that question exists, is because we were wired and designed by, the divine to be able to serve a purpose. And even if it's that, you know, connection, eye to eye connection, or saying hello to someone as you walk down the street, or the way
Mhm.
that you communicate, your gifts is very, very magnetic because it comes from your heart. So remember, your
Wonderful.
heart is an electromagnetic center.
Very powerful. So I know that you have a free gift for our audience. Would you tell us
You,
that?
I have my book, a copy of my book, a digital
Wonderful.
copy of there we go. This is the print copy.
Yes.
But if your listeners would like to download the free digital copy, that is my gift. And I am so happy to offer that to anyone who's interested in anything that I have said today and that we've talked about today.
Right.
Thank you for great questions. And there's just a whole lot more in this magical little
I can't wait to read it. And for the audience, just the button below this video will take you right to Jewel's free gift. Jewel, thank you so much for being a part of this series. I appreciate it. You and all your wisdom. And for the audience, I hope that you have enjoyed the series that you've just been through. And I hope that you've enjoyed each of our experts who have talked about their own experience, their own perspective on how to redesign your life on your terms. So I will again thank you, and bye for now.